easier than ever. Apply by July 31st, and you'll save an additional $170 on your first month. I'll give you the number here in a second, and if you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Just tell them the promo code SHARE to receive your additional savings. Maybe now is the time to make the switch, like more than 400,000 people already have, and start saving. Here it is. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
The Federal Emergency Management Agency chief says the magnitude of the COVID-19 pandemic has required them to re-examine and restructure their practices. Testifying before the House Homeland Security Committee, FEMA Administrator Pete Gaynor says the national stockpile of personal protective equipment was not sufficient.
Early on, it became clear that the scope and scale of this pandemic went far beyond what the stockpile was designed for. It could not be relied upon as the single solution for pandemic supplies in the United States.
Counselor to the President, Kellyanne Conway, has a message for those not wearing a mask.
Listen, folks, it costs nothing. It takes 2 seconds, and you'll get your liberties back sooner if you wear your mask.
Conway speaking there on Fox News. That comes as Colorado Democratic Governor Jared Polis says last call for alcohol in restaurants will be temporarily now at 10 o'clock p.m., citing data that younger people are continuing to spread COVID-19 in the state. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Working from home? I'm Chad Dodd, veterinarian and consultant to Limp Bells. Here are some tips for keeping your dog fit while staying at home. Find 15 minutes twice a day and walk your pet at a decent pace around your place. Play hide and seek by hiding some kibble or favorite toys and letting your dog find them. If you have stairs and your dog is mobile, walk up and down twice a day for 5 to 10 minutes. Or better yet, try a power walk on your terrace or backyard for some fresh air. There are more helpful pet care tips at youmove.com, spelled youmove.com.
59 NFL players have coronavirus a week before training camps are set to start. The league also signed off on the infectious disease emergency response plans for 8 teams with 24 in review. The NFL plans to test players every day for the first 2 weeks of camp and switch to every other day if the infection rate is below 5%. Former NFL player Jack Brewer tells Fox News unless he had a guaranteed contract, he would not play.
In my situation, no. Like many players, probably 70% of the guys or more don't have guaranteed contracts. And so I don't know if I'd be so quick to jump into a locker room and go on the field tackling people amidst coronavirus without a guaranteed contract to make sure that I got paid.
But what if you're guaranteed you don't have corona? What if you're guaranteed you don't have corona with the test?
Oh, yeah, I'll be fine then. But, I mean, you can't be guaranteed that everybody around you doesn't have it. I mean, the problem with the coronavirus, as we've all seen, is you can have no symptoms and still have it. I think it does create a risk. But I also think that everyone should have a choice. And that's one thing I applaud the league for and the Players Association is because they're giving each player the choice on whether or not they want to play. And they're not forcing anyone to come out and play.
For more news, you can find us online at usaradio.com or check us out on Facebook at USA Radio. For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
The following is an America Matters Media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
And welcome to this episode of City Talk, and I'm About Town Deb, and as you can see across from me, Cherie is across from me. She's back again, and Corey is zooming in with a cool backdrop behind him. He always has the coolest backdrops. So I am your host, Debbie McCarthy, and we're a production of America Matters Media, the home of quality conversation, which today we're going to be like dipping in a little bit of who knows what kind of conversation we're going to dip in. If we get to all that fun stuff, we're hoping that we do get to. You can find us on the web at americamatters.us. That's americamatters.us, and on Facebook at facebook.com/About Town Deb. We're also on the America Matters Media YouTube channel. Our toll-free global toll-free number is 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. please be sure to chime in on the Facebook watch parties, and you can always text me at 775-741-2596. So today, I asked Corey, we both Cherie and I we're on social media like, I don't know, 90% of our lives. Hopefully just 80. Wish it was 70.
Hopefully 80.
Hopefully
70 is
8.
good.
70
Yeah.
would be good. So, we are on there a lot. And that's why I like having Corey jump in, because he's a pro at all that kind of stuff. So I said, what can we talk about this a little bit different? And with the pandemic and social media and how people are reacting, I feel like you're either way over yourself, or you're like, you pull back, or you don't know what to do. You don't want to upset anybody. And we all have different personalities of how we react to stuff. So Corey is going to talk about the 4 personality identity types during this difficult time. And as we recover and move forward, it should be interesting. What do we think we are? So the defender, the guardian, the synergist, and catalyst. So we want you to stay tuned, because this first segment, I always like to say a little bit about what's been happening. And the best part of today is Grandma B and Aunt Glenda's birthday. Happy birthday. We're so excited. So I want to say a special happy birthday to them. And I'm bummed because one is in Los Angeles and one is in Palm Desert. And because of this horrible, yucky stuff, they can't be together. And thank goodness my son and I got my Grandma B, my mom, a iPhone. So thank goodness I got to FaceTime, and I got to FaceTime with Aunt Glenda as well. And my cousin Lucy stopped at Grandma B's and, texted her. They didn't do face-to-face, but she got her little birthday cake and roses. And so Sherry Fitzpatrick with Sherry's Berries, I love their strawberries. So I sent each of them identical, because they're unidentical twins, strawberries, and they got theirs yesterday. So I'm hoping they're having a great day. Normally I would be there. I was going to surprise them and do all that stuff, but that didn't happen. So this is my surprise to them, a happy birthday on air. Jackie Shelton is actually on the phone. So before I go and chat about our what's been happening, Jackie Shelton, welcome to City Talk.
Thank you, Debbie. How are you?
Well, I had I'm just going to be honest. I was really tired. I took a 3-hour nap today. I don't know how that happened.
Ooh, nice.
I sat in Papa's chair, and I've been trying not to sit in it because I get too comfy and I don't want to work. So I decided I need to rest. So I'm going to let him embrace me. I'm wearing his bolo tie today. For some reason, I felt like today was a Papa day, and I just slept. So I set my alarm, so I feel better now. But I would love you to share about the exciting stuff that's going on with I'm going to let you say the name, because Cordelia, did I say it right?
The
Cordillera. Yes. So tell us, how it's been going and what's happening and how we can get involved and all that cool stuff.
Well, you were talking about how everybody's had to change the way we do things because of the pandemic. And Emily Skiles, who's our executive director, is a genius at pivoting. And so we had an amazing film festival in person last year. This year, we're having short screenings of short films, not short screenings, at the drive-in on Friday and Saturday night. And these are films that have been submitted from people from all over the world. And these are the ones that won. So these are the best films, and they're extraordinary. And people can go to the drive-in tomorrow or Friday night or Saturday night and watch them for free. So if anybody who's ever wanted to go to a film festival, you can actually go and sit in your car and watch them. And so it's safe, but it's also not quite maybe as intimidating as going to a film festival. And then you can watch the rest of the films streaming. We have a channel like Netflix. And so for $35 all-inclusive online pass, you can watch all of the movies and the panels and the discussions with the filmmakers online, starting Friday at 7 a.m., going through Sunday night at 7 p.m.
Wow.
So all kinds of options depending on how people want to experience a film festival.
So how would they find out about that? What is there a website, a Facebook page?
Go to CIFFNV.org, so Cordillera International Film Festival NV.org, so CIFFNV.org, and you hit the tab that says it takes you to the streaming site where you can look at, because you can also, if you just want to watch one film or one segment, you can do that for $10. So $35 for everything, or $10 for one. And you can see the whole list of all the movies, what they're about, who the filmmakers are. Everything's on that website.
Okay, now, so we have a minute left in the segment, but you, when you say you get everything, does that also include the interviews with the producers or the writers? So that's important too. So can you quickly say a little bit about that before we have to go to break?
Yeah, so you watch a panel of short films, and then afterwards you get to hear from the filmmakers themselves what they were thinking when they made the film, what inspired them, different questions that you want to know about these. And that, you're right, that is the best part. That was my favorite part of the film festival last year. We wanted to make sure we included that, and so all those panels everybody's already been interviewed. It's all been done through Zoom. So you can watch the panels and then watch the screenings and then watch the panels with filmmakers.
Well, I think
it's just like a regular film festival, except for all online.
Okay. Well, I have a huge favor. Can you go on to my page, and would you be willing to share that on my About Town Deb page for me? That way everybody can see it, and I'll be sure to share it. And I know there's a special thing going on with on Instagram that I saw, and I'll be sure to share too. So, Jackie, it's that time for break. I adore you, and I'm so grateful for everything you do for the community. And we'll be right back. And stay tuned for City Talk with About Town Deb.
1 in 3 adults in America have pre-diabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Years 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ,
a Lotus broadcast station.
The power of radio since 1967.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back to the second segment of City Talk. I'm About Town Deb. Cherie and Corey, did that just go too darn fast?
So fast.
Very
What
fast.
the heck?
So fast.
See, I wish you guys, sometimes we keep going during break, and we may have to go back to that because with all the best stuff happens when we're on break. We were talking about spoons and, whatever. The Matrix. I had no idea. Like, give me a fork and knife. I don't know. Spoon's good too. But so, thank you again to Jackie Shelton. She will be posting the information for the film festival. It's not often you get to actually see panels of the writers and producers and having them share stuff like that. That's behind the scenes. That's up close and personal. And Emily is like interviewing them, I think, too. So it's really cool. We have a lot of talent in our community that people aren't even aware of. So I'm really happy that Jackie popped on. And I see my mom, Grandma B, is sending little happy. I can't see comments, but I can see have her face pop up. So. And I love it. Anyway, so we had a busy week last week. We're going to quickly, I don't want to, oh my gosh. So it started with Thursday. I'll let you share a little bit about Thursday. And before we do, hello, Amber. Hello, Amber.
Hello,
Okay.
Amber.
So share a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we met and did the wine and chocolate pairing, and it was McIntyre Vineyards. And of course, the pairing, they just do such a great job with the pairing. I mean, every time we eat it, it just, it just blows you away. The chocolates that they choose.
Oh, and they melted in your mouth.
They were
and
so
we were like,
good.
oh my, they were finger licking good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
it was
so good. And we had a little rain like today.
It was actually cool because
it was really
it cooled
great.
it down. Oh, there was this cute little couple. I think her name was Janine.
I think it was Janine too.
And now we're Facebook friends.
Oh,
or I think we are.
she's
messaging me on Facebook.
She's so sweet.
It was like their first time. They were this adorable little couple. It was their first time out since this whole thing because it was outside, and they just kept moving their table away from the rain. Didn't let him. And he pulled the door up and he opened it for her. It was so cute. Chivalry. We'll be talking about that. So, but the wine was good. The chocolate was good. We have I think 2 more scheduled.
Yeah.
And I'm co-hosting them, so I'm excited. So the next one is August 20th.
August 20th.
So if you go online and you I think it's already on my page. If not, it will be on my page. And you call to make your reservation, or you put the code in ATD pairing, you will get a raffle ticket. And if you buy items extra, like a cheese tray or something, or try their fancy desserts, extra stuff, you will get raffle tickets to win a huge El Dorado wine basket. And it had 6 bottles of wine, I think. It was amazing. And that's just for using the code. And it's incredible. So we encourage you to do that. And then on Saturday was the wine lock, not the wine walk, with the Riverwalk District, which I'm also partnering with. I love partnering with our community members.
So fun.
That's what I do. I love it. And people were like, we were set up over by Dorinda's and the and Nellie's studio, the Outsiders.
Yep.
And so people are like, can we buy one? We're like, oh, you have to pre-buy them, but maybe we'll have some there. And if you use ATD Wine 20, you get $10 off your ticket. You get 2 bottles of wine, and you got some sangria, and you got beer, and you got cool items in it. So that's another really fun event. And we had a blast. It was warm, but nobody cared. Everybody was excited. And they also won. So if you use the code, not only do you get $10 off, I had another big wine basket.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm just wine basking El Dorado all over the place.
I love you so much.
I love doing that. So we had that. And then Sunday was National Ice Cream Day at Rolled Mountain Creamery. I spent the whole weekend right there by the hub and Riverside and by the river. So National Ice Cream Day was great, and it was just amazing. And their ice cream is incredible, and it's all natural ingredients. And I don't do well with dairy, so they make some with the coconut milk.
Oh, that's
and I think it's all gluten free and this free and that free. So really, if you're gonna have ice cream, you want to have theirs. So anyway, we have more things planned with them as well. So that was what we've been doing. We've been out, and you've been hitting all the hot spots as Hungry in Reno. Now that I'm going to bring in our guest, tell you a little bit about. So Cherie is also Hungry in Reno, and she's Nevada's HIP, and she has all this other community stuff, and she's with Step 2. She just, I don't know. She has more hats than it. Well, I don't know. We all have a lot. Corey has a lot of hats too. We all wear a lot of hats. So we're going to have her share a little bit about, I want her opinion on what she thinks she is, the defender, the guardian, the synergist, and the catalyst. And then we have Corey with us, Corey Michael, and I'm happy to have him back again with Corey Michael Design and Consulting. And he's a part of a giver marketing plan, and I'm actually been busy this week, so I had to miss our Tuesday morning, and it was like he was speaking, and I realized, I should have got up even earlier so I could have got it all done and listened to him. So I'm really grateful that we have him here, but he has tons of experience. I'm happy you're here. So, but I'll let him, he just does everything. So I think we need to jump right into this topic because time goes by way too fast. So tell us how you even, what made you think of this topic? Have you been studying it? Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so it's probably a good idea to give a little bit of background into exactly who I am and what I do. So you mentioned Giver Marketing, and so that is a marketing agency in the Sacramento, mostly in the Sacramento area, but we serve businesses really across the United States. But I've been doing marketing for over a decade, and primarily actually in a nonprofit role. I was a pastor on staff at a church, and so I've got to understand people fairly well over the years. And as we've been in times of crisis, it's been interesting to see, I think, in a sharper contrast, how people are wired, but also how they are handling everything mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of the alleys. You last week spoke a little bit with Tim on social media, and I thought bringing a little bit of a psychological side of social media might be interesting, that applies really to business and life. We were talking about it, kind of finding your flow, and you can ask yourself a question to figure out what capacity or which area you're in that guardian or the defender or the synergist or the catalyst. And here's the question really to ask yourself is what capacity do you feel that you are operating at when it comes to your energy and your focus and your motivation? What capacity? So is it 0 to 25%? So a quarter of your normal self? Is it 25 to 50%, 50 to 75%, or 75 to 100%? So which quarter are you? If you think of yourself kind of like a battery, and how full your battery is, that's a great way to determine which kind of mental space you are in. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about just some characteristics of each of these, because you don't know what you don't know, and we don't know what it's like to be on the other side of us. Like, we only know what it's like to be us, but sometimes we need somebody saying, like, hey, here's something to be aware of to help us know where exactly we're at. And I think one of the easiest ways to see is with our social media accounts. I mean, that is hashtag no filter for sure. So maybe I could just run through these real quick, Deb.
Yeah, you have about 3 minutes before break, so go through those, and then let's break them down, and we'll each share what we think we are and what you are. So let's go for it.
Yeah, for sure. So the first, if you're feeling like you're in that 0 to 25% of your normal capacity, we would call that the defender. And by the way, the information that I'm going over today is a blend of my own just kind of research and development, but also these are not necessarily new concepts. Entrepreneur and Forbes and all those kind of productivity type magazines talk about various degrees of this. So I just want to throw that out there too. But if you're in that 0 to 25% range, that defender, you'll find that you are in major self-preservation mode. And in a weird way, you're so focused on yourself that you're also not aware of yourself. It's much easier for you to react to things rather than to respond. So you see somebody on social media that posts something that's against your personal beliefs or values or whatever, and you are quick to want to go, how dare they? And put in your own little comment that is a little bit divisive, right? you've got low levels of concentration, you're exhausted more easily, maybe you've got trouble sleeping, you're more irritable overall. You have a general lack of self-awareness because, again, you're really focused on that self-preservation that you're not able to step outside of your own zone, more or less. So that's that defender mode. And maybe you find yourself in that guardian mode, which is the 25 to 50%. This is a little bit lower levels of energy, not quite in the in the defender mode, but you're always on guard. That's a good way to think of this. You're always on guard. You're a little bit touch and go, a little bit more on edge. You are finding that your motivation to do anything is not really based on discipline. When maybe you're disciplined in some areas, but it's easier for you to just do things out of sheer willpower, not because you're actually engaging in that discipline that you might normally have. It's easier to self-doubt, and your nutrition maybe isn't as the forefront of your mind. You're always feeling like you maybe take longer to recover from your emotional or your physical dealings. So there's a lot of... it's more difficult to put yourself out there. And Deb, I know that we've got just a few seconds here.
Well, so why don't we take a break and we'll come back and we'll do the last two. So
we've got some hope for you folks.
We got some hope. So stay tuned. Head over to About Town Deb's Facebook page. Leave us a comment. We'll be right back. And we want to see what the synergist and what the catalyst is next.
Yep.
Be right back.
Hi, I'm Kelly Rush, CEO of America Matters Media, here to tell you about Reno, Tahoe Mattress and Furniture. They have mattresses and furniture for 50 to 80% less than the big retailers. They sell all new name brand mattresses and furniture from name brand vendors and carry everything from lower end up to luxury brands. Because Reno, Tahoe Mattress and Furniture is a clearance warehouse, not a direct retailer, stock is limited and they never know when the next truck will come in. They're open to the public Saturdays from noon to 4 p.m., but availability is first come, first serve. Reno Tahoe Mattress and Furniture is located at 1050 Linda Way, Suite 13 in Sparks, or call Liz for an appointment at 775-790-7521. Get 90-day no-interest, no-credit check financing with just $50 down. Mention this ad for an additional 5% off. Again, Reno Tahoe Mattress and Furniture, 775-790-7521.
So here's the choice. Some people say the USA is finished. It's evil, a has-been, full of hate and injustice. The U.S. Constitution should be trashed and the Bill of Rights abolished. No free speech, no gun ownership. Competition and free markets are bad. We're all too stupid. For our own good, the government must own everything and know all your secrets.
Other people say that America has created the freest, richest, happiest, most generous society that has ever existed in the world. That's why millions of people are desperate to come here and escape their brutal lives in Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, and 100 other countries.
In America, we have the right to succeed, the right to our own living, the right to have a family, the right to believe in God, the right to have our own ideas, the right to be safe and secure, and the right to be left alone.
Where do you stand? Help us save the Constitution and restore the American dream. Go to SaveMyFreedom.com.
Brought to you by the American Media Council.
Rich is just a really good guy. The term good egg isn't enough to describe him. He's also certified organic and free range. Rich puts the cap back on everything. The toothpaste, the olive oil, the shampoo, everything. He lets his 10-year-old nephew beat him at virtual tennis, even though he can straight up slay his 10-year-old nephew in virtual tennis. When the toilet paper is running low, Rich replaces the roll on the actual holder, not just on the back of the toilet. Rich is texting and driving. Rich, no. What are you doing, Rich? I was just telling everyone how great you are. Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ.
A Lotus broadcast station.
The power of radio since 1967.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
And we're back for our third segment of City Talk with About Town Deb and Cherie and Corey. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we'd love to have you join the party. You can just text me 775-741-2596, or you can go on Facebook, and I can't see them, but Jazzy Georgia can see them. So Jazzy, if you see something, please text me, and hopefully I'll see your text. Anyway, so we'd love to hear from you, and we're going to go right back to where we left off with Corey, because that defender, man, I'm like, oh my God, I think I was a defender this morning. I was so tired. I needed a nap. And the guardian, I don't know. Sometimes I'm a guardian. So I want to hear about the synergist and the catalyst, because maybe I'm one of those. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah. Well, let me say two quick things.
Yes.
One is that it is entirely normal to fluctuate through these various levels that we're talking about today. Depending on what's going on externally, in the world, internally, how you're handling it, events happening, if you have loved ones that are struggling with it, or they've got health issues or whatever, right? So just a little bit of hope, just because you might be in one of these the lower battery levels doesn't mean you're going to live there forever. The second thing is, if you do find yourself in those, I have a couple of suggestions to find some time to meditate or pray. Whatever you're more comfortable with doing, and whatever that looks like. But also, it is 100% okay to seek medical professional help to help you make it through, and include loved ones, because you are not alone in this world. So please let people be in your life with you and support you along the way. So the reason why I even bring those things up is because the next two, in order to get to these, you need great support. You need a great system to help you make the right choices personally, to help you contextualize things that are happening in the world. So let's talk about the synergist here. So that's the 50 to 75% range. I would say that a majority of people right now fall probably somewhere in this synergist range, where fluctuating energy levels throughout the day, you find that maybe your focus and concentration are a little bit fluctuating as well. You're able to be productive. You're able to get things done, maybe not ideally, but you are getting things done. And so you're able to make little steps of progress towards maybe some of your goals, even if it's just one little tiny step towards some goal that helps you to feel a little bit more productive. You're not as easily distracted. Your moods are generally pretty even keeled. Maybe, whatever that mood looks like, it's a little bit more even. You're able to be more deliberate in what you are spending your time on. But the synergist, you're fighting that internal synergy, right? So you're finding your flow a little bit. You're starting to be on that upswing. And so what that looks like on social media is you're finding yourself not as easily swayed to engage in pointless conversations. Things don't get you as uppity as easily, and you feel in general that I'm pretty good. I'm okay. That would be kind of a synergist kind of feel. The last would be a catalyst, in that 75 to 100% range. And Deb, I would definitely say that you're in this catalyst zone. I know we were going to talk about it afterwards, where we thought we were all at, but you've always got a higher energy level. And even just because you have a lower energy level where you want to take a 3-hour nap doesn't mean that you are not in a catalyst zone. If you find that I think one of the greatest markers of a catalyst is that you are able to think outside of yourself and be an impact on other people, and you're able to bring positivity to an environment, because you're able to respond to things rather than react to things. You're able to take information in and do something productive with it, not just go off on the rails. When you see things on social media, you can actually respond to opposing views with health and with dignity and respect. You can feel like you're able to pinpoint maybe some of your underlying issues easier. You have a greater level of self-awareness. And it is something that is obviously desired to be in this realm, but I said it earlier, you need people around you because we can't do it by ourselves. And that is one of the biggest traits of a catalyst, I think, is you surround yourself with really good people that are constantly uplifting you, and you're very intentional about that. And so because you've got the right people impacting you, you're able to impact others and be that catalyst for change.
I like it. So, Cherie, I hearing all this, I want to say that you're a catalyst. I said that from the very beginning because everything that Corey said about me is really Corey. He's just like that too. I mean, I have surrounded myself with many catalysts, and I feel like I can only be a catalyst if I have catalysts around me. Like you said, it's like, we all like.
You are who you hang with.
Yes,
That's exactly right.
Yes.
Yep.
So sometimes you gotta just
You gotta
move
let
away.
some stuff go.
You have to let stuff go. And social media wise, I want to hear your opinion, Cherie, because we're on social media a lot, and you're involved in a lot of different groups, and you host a lot of pages and manage a lot of pages, and you're dealing with restaurants and nonprofits and all kinds of stuff, which people tend to complain and they tend to put it out there. And I would have a really hard time because I take everything. So I'm better at it now because I'm reading more books. So I don't take everything personally anymore. I've really gotten pretty good about that. But what do you think you are, and how do you deal with the social media part of it when you're out there, when you see something that's like off the chart? Are you able just to sit back and how do you handle it?
Sometimes, and sometimes I'm not. I mean, obviously I'm human, but I definitely think that the majority of time I would spend in the catalyst space. I mean, there's certain things that, but I agree with you. I think that it's a lot about who I choose to hang out with. And I do like, Corey, that you said that being a catalyst is very intentional, because I like that you are intentionally working to be better and to do better and to respond instead of react. Those are all really good, because I think that if you can respond instead of reacting, and you can actually see, okay, this person is emotional about or this is a big deal to them, it makes it a little easier for you to understand their side of it. You don't have to agree. And I think that's the biggest piece that people don't understand right now, is that all this stuff that's on social media, to support someone in their feelings and how they are feeling right now, does not mean you agree with them. It just means that you're supporting them. So you and I aren't always going to have the same ideas about time, although we do feel
so far we do
about
we have
the vast majority of things. But there will be something that I don't have to agree with you to support you in that. And I think that getting to that space, intentionally getting to that space, is key for us to be catalysts. I mean,
and I think to even add on to that, to take it even one step further, it's about empathy, understanding that you may not know exactly what somebody's experiencing, but that is their right to let you into what they are. But just remembering, we all have our own lives. I think I have a good example of this. There's a leader that I follow who was in a Starbucks, and he had just lost and he's a pastor leader. He had just lost his, I think 4-year-old daughter to a major asthma attack. And he was in Starbucks, in recovery mode just a couple weeks later. And he said, I was in there and I was so mad at everybody, because everybody is drinking their coffee and they're happy. And he said that I asked God, why do these people not understand what I'm going through, when obviously they wouldn't, right? And he said that he heard that kind of voice in the back of his head say, this is how people are every single Sunday when they come to church. You have no idea what it is that they're going through. And that example can be extrapolated into anything, right? We don't know what people are going through. There could be people dealing with some really heavy trauma or whatever it is that's causing them to speak out on social media in a certain way or in interactions in a certain way. And our job is to try to be empathetic. Again, you don't have to agree with them. You don't have to agree with their opinion or their approach or how they present their opinion. But if you can do your best to stand with them and say, hey, I see you, I hear you, and I'm not going to agree with you, and that's fine. It is way better not to engage in those conversations that are just going to drain you and drag you down. And honestly, sometimes that's the best thing to do, is just totally move on, just keep on scrolling.
Yeah, and that's I do that. We were talking. people joke with me and say I'm Switzerland, and they want me to not be Switzerland. And, Cherie and I were talking, and she said, there's black and white, but you got to be able to see some gray. I think you need to see gray, because you got to have gray for grace. Oh, I mean, you have to have grace for people, and you have to be able to, like you said, be there for them. And if you see they're in a defender mode, what can you do to help bring them up a little bit if they're ready for that? I mean, some people may want to be in a defender mode, and that's okay. But I feel like if you can offer them a little bit of hope and a little bit of faith and a little bit of grace, that they're going to go, wow, I don't have to worry. If I'm in one of those modes, I can talk to Cherie or Corey or Debbie, and they're going to be, I'm just let it out. Yep. I don't have to agree, whatever, but I'm here to listen. And sometimes just being a good listener is good enough too. So it is a minute. Darn it. Gosh, it's a minute.
I got a kind of a wrapping up thought to
perfect.
That. Is I would say the one thing to be careful of with all of these things is to treat everybody as what you think they are. So if you think somebody is a defender and they're operating in that 0 to 25%, what you don't do is go, oh, that makes sense. And then treat them as if they're this low level energy. Treat them as if they were a catalyst.
Oh, yes.
Treat them in the way that you would hope somebody would treat you, right? The golden rule.
That's a big deal these days.
You know, so just be careful about assigning these things, because that turns into judgment and can lead to not good roads. Start with yourself. That's the best place to start.
I love it. Okay, well, it's that time again. We're going to take another quick break. If you're listening online, AmericaMatters.us, over the airwaves at AM 1180, remember you can always watch the video live streaming at About Town Deb page or America Matters YouTube channel. Hang in there with us. We'll be right back. Before you know it, we're going to talk a little bit about dating.
You hear it all the time. Buy local, think local, eat local, choose local, grow local. But who the heck really is local? You can shop with locals at the Nevada Marketplace in the Reno Town Mall and search for locals at buynevadafirst.com. We're all local all the time.
Home at Last opens doors to family, to freedom, to finally making it yours. Home at Last, a program of the Nevada Rural Housing Authority, opens doors to rural home buyers with incomes of up to $135,000, providing down payment assistance of more than $22,000, plus access to our exclusive pet adoption program. From Gardnerville to Fernley to Carson City and even Sparks, rural happens here in every county in Nevada. Learn more at homeatlastnv.org.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
As humans, we ask ourselves all kinds of questions. But what if we were forced to ask ourselves a question every day that affected the outcome of the most basic things, the most important things in our lives? The question is, what is your sexual orientation or gender identity? And the answer is the difference between keeping your job or getting fired. The answer is the difference between staying in your home or getting evicted. The answer is the difference between receiving medical treatment or not. Because in 31 states, it's legal to discriminate against people based on their answer to this question. LGBT Americans have the right to say I do, but they don't have the same basic rights as everyone else. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
If you see activity that seems suspicious, threatening, or criminal in nature, please speak up and say something. Anonymously report suspicious activity online at keepnevadasafe.org. Sponsored by a grant from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and Nevada Department of Public Safety. Learn more at keepnevadasafe.org.
This overload
Shannon Lawson here. Join us for the Nevada Radio Roundup, Fridays at 2 p.m. A good news variety show all about the local scene. The Nevada Roundup, Friday at 2.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
And we're back for the fourth and final segment of this week's City Talk. And I'm About Town Deb, and I have Cherie and I have Corey here. And Corey, thank you. That was really interesting. I really love the idea that we need to be aware of what personalities people are and what they're going through at that time, especially on social media. But we're going to go to the fun side of life. Well, it could be fun. So we were trying to, we want to add some snazz every now and then of the show. And I was on social media surfing, and Corey had this amazing, we're going to talk about it next. So Corey had this amazing post. We were talking about how to proposals. It is incredible, and he's going to post it because it just I'm like, we totally have to talk about this. And then I went to go with Kevin, my text guy, who I just found out is best friends with Cherie, which is small world. And I said, we're going to talk a little bit about dating. And he goes, she's a horrible dater. I go, can I say that? And he goes, I don't care, tell her, or something. He didn't say it just like that.
He will love to have the mention for sure.
I know.
It's true though.
No, he
Dating
said you're
is just horrible.
He said I'm not a very good dater either. But no, so are you really a horrible dater?
I really am. It's just
why?
hard for
Do
me
you know?
to it's hard. One, I would like for people to be friends. And so you just kind of go into it as being friends. And then all of a sudden they're attracted to you and there's this weird space.
Yeah.
And you don't know if you're attracted. It's that awkwardness of you're on a date. Are you supposed to be yourself? Are you not supposed to be? What do they want? And kind of navigating that space is really difficult for me. I just want to be, if I'm in a situation where we just meet naturally.
That's way easier.
That's way easier. And then you can be friends and you can kind of be like, oh, I'm attracted to this person. But you've started to really see who they really are. Whereas if you're online dating, I mean, who knows? You don't know.
Yeah. Speaking about who knows, online dating. Yeah. I haven't done it for a very long time. FYI, I have not. I don't even like the word date. It scares me. What does that mean? Are we now getting married?
Just go out to dinner. It's fine.
It's fine. No,
Let's go get a meal.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. And sometimes guys don't want to say date. So they don't. I mean, I never used to want to say date. Then I was finally ready to say date. Then they don't want to say date. So what do you do? But so way back when, we're talking way back when, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. I don't know, 10. I was on Match or one of those, and this profile photo pops up. I'm like, oh, he's kind of cute. Yeah, I'll go have lunch with him, And so we go and meet for lunch, and I sit down, and I'm like, whoa, you do not even, you don't even, whoa. And I'm not, I love a person for a person, but this totally 120 degrees different from what I thought. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna okay, let's just get through this. And let me, he's a great guy. Let me find out about him. And all of a sudden he sits down, he looks at me and he goes, can you order the quickest thing on the menu? I'm like, what? I'm looking around going, me? And he goes, yeah, because I'm kind of in a hurry or whatever, something like that. I'm like, okay, excuse me, I'll have the soup.
Yeah.
And he goes, make that too. So we got this quick bowl of soup, and all of a sudden he goes, excuse me, I need to go. And he left me there.
So this leads into my question of, if you are not into someone, do you leave right away and
he
say,
left me there? I had to eat my soup by myself. I ate my soup by myself.
So now, here's my question was that actually that horrible, or would it have been more horrible had he stayed?
You know what? You're right. I wish he just would have said, you know what? You weren't what I expected. I don't know. And then I was just going to sit there and eat soup and just I was excited to find out the real person.
Right.
I wasn't going to leave.
Right.
I made a commitment to
Even though you felt that way.
I did, but I was going to stay. But he looked at me and said, I'm out of here. I don't know.
I doubt that's
Maybe
what
I had
happened.
food in I haven't even ate yet. I don't know.
I think he was like, oh, dang.
No.
She's too hot.
And then,
That's
no,
what
it's
happened.
not. No. Anyway, it was very humiliating. But I was like, okay, I'm good. I got this. I ate my soup and I quietly walked out with my tail between my legs. Like,
sorry that
it was
happened.
okay. It was
Yeah.
good. I mean, it's fine.
Well, here's the thing.
I never
is
forgot
that
it.
You would never forget that. But I also think that there's some level of, like, at least it was very much like he left. Like, he knew it wasn't going to work. He left. But also, there's a level, too, that you got to think about of, well, let's just get to know each other. Maybe we could just be friends.
I know. We had a lot of business in common.
Yeah.
I was like, we can network like crazy.
Yes.
I was all about business then.
And that's, I think, okay, too. So I think the better conversation is, okay, maybe we're not going to date, but hey, how about we be friends?
I like that.
Yeah.
So have you had something like that?
Oh, gosh. Well, most of mine have to deal with either lying about your height or lying about your age.
Oh, yeah.
Men do this, too.
Okay.
And so I met this one guy. It was years ago too. I don't online date either.
Yeah.
I like the personal connection.
I do
like
too.
being able to connect
Yeah.
with people. And I'm not, really, I'm pretty happy with the space I'm in.
I
So
am
I'm
too.
not really,
Yeah.
if something happens, great.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not really
I
too
gotcha.
worried about
Yeah.
it. But this was the time when I was dating online. And so we met at Bully's, and literally this guy was a good 20 years older. Good 20
than you
years
thought.
older than I thought. And I said that. I was like, your picture is like 20 years younger. And he's like, yeah, whatever. Like, you're going to hang out with me and you're going to have a drink and you're going to like it. And I'm like, no. And I did walk out.
Oh, you know what?
I did walk out.
There was, I looked up one, there was one similar where this gal, it was the same thing. She went and he was way older and she goes, I thought you were like the grandfather. And he goes, that's okay. I'm going to buy you a nice dinner and drink and you can go.
I mean,
what the heck?
And you're like, and that's why I left. I didn't leave because he lied, but I
No.
left because he assumed that I was just going to take it and say, it's okay to sit here and I'm going to buy you a drink. So you're going to stay because that's what
not
women
right.
do. And I thought, oh no.
No. Okay, Mr. Corey, I know that you're a married man, but before you were a married man, did you have any experiences? And then I'd like you to tell us about your proposal because, man, it's already going too fast. So go ahead.
Yeah. So I only had one girlfriend prior to my wife. And that was just me. I wasn't the dating type. Believe it or not, I used to be super introverted and really like quiet. And I was just like, I was good with what I was doing. I had one date with a girl that was very awkward and we didn't talk anytime after that, but I stuck it through. But besides that, I knew my wife from church. And so, we have that good little Christian love story, I guess. But we dated for a year and then I proposed. And so the way I did that was I actually created a movie trailer proposal.
Oh, we love this.
Listen
me
to this.
going on an epic journey to propose to my wife. And I worked with a local theater in Rockland, California, the Studio Movie Grill. They actually let me show the trailer before an actual movie started. And I invited 75 of my friends and family, our friends and family to come. And I told my wife, or, she was just my girlfriend at the time. I told her we were going to the movie theater for my mom's birthday, which was sort of true. But we were going, and then both of our families were going to be there. She didn't really think anything of that. And then I had gone and run some errands to prepare, and I told her that I was running late. So she walks in. And you'll see this. I posted the link for this on the video for this on Facebook. But my wife walks in and sees all of these people there, and I'm not there. And she's thinking, why are all these people here for Corey's mom's birthday? Like she just didn't even think about it. And so then she sits down, and the video is that I had my friend film of me of doing a whole bunch of things, fighting ninjas, pirates, and robots.
I know. Oh my
Had a
gosh.
friend of mine create a robot costume, did all sorts of special effects that I put together in this video. And then at the end of the video, it shows me running into the theater, which I had filmed a week before in the same clothes that I wore on that day.
Oh my gosh.
So then I timed it so I came in and then proposed. So
I love it.
Yeah, so then I posted that to YouTube, and some little blog picked it up, and so it's got like 21,000 views or something on it right now, which was just kind of a random funny thing. But it's fun. I like to show it to people and to call guys to a greater level of proposal than than what a lot of things out there. Not saying it needs to be that crazy, but do something, more than just oh, hey, do you want to get married? Cool. Right? Like, that's
I love it. I love it.
Sorry, guys.
Step it up.
I know. I love that.
I posted that on the post for this on Facebook.
Well, I appreciate that. And is there any last minute Hungry in Reno events? Because I want to quickly say what's next week's on the show. So
I think there's just Record Street Brewing is turning over some of their taps to Black Rabbit Meads. So if you ever get a chance to go over there, you want to try some meads, supports both of them. So that's
on 4th Street?
That's on 4th Street.
In Reno?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And so they're doing that. I know Pizzava is also doing the same for Rum Sugar Lime.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So there's some great collaborations that are going out there to help our bars that have been shut down. So and cocktails to go.
Okay,
Grab
feel free to
cocktails.
post any of that. So next week, thank you both. Next week, we're going to be live in Carson City with Visit Carson City, the crew there. Jazzy Georgia and I, and thank you, Jazzy Georgia, for manning Facebook. We are going to be with Lydia Brugge and Dave Patterson, and we're going to be having a staycation in Carson City. Mask friendly at all, so it's About Town Deb with City Talk. Thank you, guys. We will see you next week. Stay tuned to About Town Deb, City Talk. Love you guys. Bye.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. I'm here to warn you about telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Some of these scammers may say threatening